One American News catches up with the first former Navy SEAL elected to Congress, who's also Donald Trump's choice for Interior Secretary. John Hines has the interview with nominee James Mattis in Washington.
President Trump's choice for Interior Secretary is Montana Representative Ryan Zinke, who served for 23 years as a Navy SEAL, including service in the Balkans and Iraq, where he served with Defense Secretary nominee James Mattis, who Zinke says is extremely capable.
I fought with him in Fallujah, and he is exactly the right man at this time. He's a warrior. He's reluctant to go to war, but he clearly understands if we have to go to war to win. And I think it was a magnificent pick.
And the gist of his nickname, Mad Dog?
Well, it's a term of endearment. Because if you were the enemy, I think he strikes fear in the heart of the enemy, which is exactly what a Marine Division commander should do, as well as a 4-star. And the Secretary of Defense, again, he's a reluctant warrior, but if we go to war, he's going to go to war to win.
But for Mattis to be a warrior as Secretary of Defense, Congress must grant a waiver to allow him to skirt a requirement that ex-military officials must be out of service 7 years before they can become Secretary of Defense. But Zinke doesn't see a problem.
I think he'll get the waiver. The waiver in Congress was 1946, I believe, when the law was put in provision, and it's a different world than 1946.
It may be a different world now, but one constant is leadership, which involves making good choices. And Zinke sees a lot of good choices being made by President-elect Trump.
Well, in my career, I was never the best jumper, diver, explosive expert, but I always knew who was. And I surrounded myself with what I think were the very best. And what I'm seeing with Mr. Trump is he's surrounding himself with talent, a lot of business. And these aren't intellectuals that have thought about business. These are actually businessmen who've conducted it. And so thus far, I think his picks are exactly right. Pro-economy, pro-jobs, pro-defense.
Zinke has recounted his life as a Navy SEAL and his thoughts on leadership in his book, American Commander, Serving a Country Worth Fighting For and Training the Brave Soldiers Who Lead the Way. John Hines, One American News, Washington.